In ancient Egypt, Pharaoh Seti makes a surprise visit to his mistress, the beautiful and forbidden Hamunaptra, a woman no other man is allowed to touch. Unknown to him, however, his trusted high priest Imhotep has been engaging in a dangerous affair with her. The pharaoh's suspicions are confirmed when he notices that the sacred body paint on Hamunapra's skin has been smeared, proof of their secret affair. Enraged, Seti confronts them. Desperate, the lovers strike first and murder the pharaoh. The royal guards storm in to capture the guilty pair, but Hamunaptra demands Imhotep promise to bring her back to life. Before the guards can take her, she plunges a dagger into her own heart. Imhotep is dragged away by his priests, but he swears to resurrect her. Fueled by grief and forbidden love, Imhotep steals her corpse and escapes to the legendary necropolis of Hamunaptra. There, with the Book of the Dead in hand and Hamunapra's vital organs sealed in 5 sacred canopic jars, Imhotep attempts to summon her soul from the underworld. Just as the ritual nears completion, the pharaoh's elite guards interrupt, severing Hamunapra's spirit from her restored body and banishing it back to the afterlife. The punishment for their crime is swift and brutal. Imhotep's priests are mummified alive, but Imhotep himself suffers a fate worse than death. His tongue is cut out, and he is condemned to the cursed Hamdai, an eternal torment reserved for only the gravest sinners. He is sealed in a sarcophagus teeming with flesh-eating scarabs, doomed to remain undead. To prevent the curse from ever being unleashed, the guardians known as the Magi are assigned to ensure no one disturbs his tomb for eternity. 3,000 years later, a battle rages on the desolate sands surrounding Hamunaptra. Rick O'Connell, a captain in the French Foreign Legion, fights alongside his dwindling forces against a relentless wave of local warriors. As the enemy closes in, Rick's cowardly comrade, Benny Gabor, abandons him to the chaos. Cornered and outnumbered, Rick is left to make a final stand at the gates of the ancient ruins. Just as death seems inevitable, the attacking soldiers flee in terror. Confused, Rick watches as the sand swirls unnaturally, forming the shape of a monstrous, ancient face. Overwhelmed, he escapes into the desert, leaving Hamunaptra's buried horrors behind. The Magi, who have watched the battle from afar, are relieved that the tomb of Imhotep remains undisturbed, for now. In Cairo, an eager but clumsy Egyptologist named Evelyn Carnahan accidentally knocks over every shelf in the library at the Museum of Antiquities. As she struggles to repair the damage, the museum's curator, Dr. Bay, berates her for the mess and questions why he even tolerates her. Evelyn reminds him it is her vast knowledge that keeps her employed. Just as Evelyn starts cleaning, her mischievous brother, Jonathan, appears with an intriguing find, a strange black box containing a map to Hamunaptra, the mythical city of the dead. Evelyn is captivated, but Dr. Bay dismisses the discovery, warning them to abandon any notion of going to Hamunaptra. Frustrated, Jonathan reveals that he borrowed the box from a thief, a prisoner named Rick O'Connell. Determined to unlock the secrets of the lost city, Evelyn and Jonathan visit the prison, where Rick, now scruffy and facing execution, is being held. After a tense encounter in which Rick punches Jonathan for stealing his belongings, Evelyn offers him a deal. She'll save him from the noose if he guides them to Hamunaptra. With a grin, Rick agrees, sealing the bargain with a bold kiss, much to Evelyn's annoyance. After securing Rick's release by bribing the corrupt warden Hassan, the group boards a riverboat bound for Hamunaptra. They soon discover they are not alone. Another group of treasure hunters, led by Rick's former friend Benny, is also racing toward the lost city. As they place a bet on who will reach Hamunaptra first, Evelyn confides in Rick that her true goal is not treasure, but the legendary Book of Hamunaptra, said to contain the secrets of life and death. That night, the boat is attacked by the Magi, who demand the map and key. Though Rick fends off the attackers, the boat is set ablaze, and the group is forced to abandon their belongings and swim ashore. Rick assures Evelyn that he still remembers the way to Hamunaptra, and the next morning, they set off across the desert on camelback. After days of travel, both groups finally reach Hamunaptra as sunlight reveals the hidden city. Evelyn's team is the first to set foot inside, winning the bet. The excavation begins, with Evelyn skillfully guiding them through the ancient tombs using a network of mirrors to illuminate the dark passages. Meanwhile, Warden Hassan greedily pockets a jeweled scarab from the walls, only to discover, too late, that the scarab burrows into his flesh, driving him mad before killing him. Deeper in the ruins, the treasure hunters uncover a cursed chest sealed with dire warnings. Ignoring the ancient curse, they open the chest, unleashing Imhotep, whose withered, mummified body lies inside. As Evelyn's curiosity gets the better of her, she steals the Book of the Dead and reads aloud from its pages, unintentionally awakening the ancient priest. The moment Imhotep stirs, a plague of locusts descends upon the camp, and a treasure hunter is left blind and helpless, only to be devoured by the newly awakened monster. Imhotep's power grows with each soul he consumes. As he drains the light from the treasure hunters, he raises a horde of mindless followers to assist in his quest to resurrect Enkidu using Evelyn as the sacrificial vessel. Rick, Evelyn, and Jonathan race to escape the city, seeking help from Dr. Bay and the Magi, who warn them that Imhotep cannot be stopped unless they find the Book of Ammon-Ra, the only weapon capable of destroying him. In Cairo, Imhotep brings plagues upon the city, rivers run with blood, locusts swarm the streets, and fiery hail falls from the sky. When Evelyn is captured by Imhotep, Rick and the others pursue him back to Hamunaptra, enlisting the help of an eccentric old pilot named Winston. Their journey ends in a crash when Imhotep conjures a massive sandstorm to stop them, but the survivors press on. At Hamunaptra, Imhotep prepares to sacrifice Evelyn, but Rick and Jonathan arrive just in time. A desperate battle unfolds as Imhotep raises undead priests to fight Rick, while Evelyn battles the resurrected Enkidu. With the Book of Ammon-Ra in hand, Jonathan uses its power to command the undead soldiers to destroy Enkidu. Evelyn then recites the spell that makes Imhotep mortal, allowing Rick to stab him. Imhotep falls into a pit of the damned, where the souls of the underworld consume him. As the temple begins to collapse, Benny, greedy to the end, remains behind to collect treasure but is trapped and devoured by scarabs. The heroes barely escape as the ruins of Hamunaptra crumble into the sands. In the final scene, Rick, Evelyn, and Jonathan ride off into the desert, exhausted but triumphant. Though Jonathan laments leaving empty-handed, Rick smiles, kisses Evelyn, and declares, "We didn't leave empty-handed.